Hey, welcome to Carbon Echo. I'm Nikita, and these are my two co hosts, Arjun and Alina. So, today, on our very first episode of Carbon Echo, we're talking about AI.
That's right, guys. Hey everyone, Arjun here. Now, I'm sure all of us are well acquainted with our mutual friend ChatGPT and have used AI at some point or another in our day to day lives. Maybe you've used it to research your homework, asked Gemini about your cat's medication, or even just generated a simple grocery list. But it's undeniable that AI is rapidly integrating itself into the various aspects of our daily lives. Wouldn't you say, Elena?
Most certainly. In fact, every time you make a Google search, the top results are now an AI overview, which is made almost impossible for you to turn off. The worst part is, it has exactly what you're looking for. However, other than the obvious effects AI has on our autonomy, thinking process, and creative capabilities, something most tend to ignore is AI's massive effects on the environment.
AI data centers utilize massive amounts of water every single day for operating and cooling their systems. They are responsible for a huge amount of greenhouse gas emissions, and it's actually insane to think that they also contribute to 12% of all electronic waste. And we didn't even notice?
My goodness. Now, to add a little context to that, a recent study in 2025 showed that AI data centers use more water than the global water bottle industry. That comes out to over 19 million liters a day. That is absolutely insane. And as a whole, last year, according to various studies, AI data centers used approximately 700 billion tons of water.
Whoa, that's a lot. More than the water bottle industry? I can't believe it. Aside from the massive impact it's having on the environment, people's lives are now directly being affected by these data centers that are using so much water and space near their homes. Here's something that genuinely gives me goosebumps. A BBC interview from July 2025 with Beverly Morris, an American citizen residing in suburban Georgia, gives us her insight into life right next to an AI data center.
That's right. Now, in this interview, Miss Morris tells us that the root of her troubles is that the construction of the center owned by Meta disrupted her private well, causing an excessive buildup of sediment. Miss Morris now hauls buckets of water just to flush her toilet. The sediment causes the water coming out from the taps in her bathroom and kitchen to turn an unsettling brown color, an issue unsullied by her various attempts to fix it with plumbing or installing filters.
To truly cement the fact that Miss Morris had to face such devastating consequences. This is a quote from Miss Morris directly from the interview. The biggest change that really happened is the water. I can't live in my home with half my home functioning and no water, and I can't drink it. We don't really know all of the effects that are going to happen to us from this. Meta is a 1.3 trillion industry and they're huge. To me, it's like David and Goliath. Miss Morris openly spoke about the company and their billion-dollar data center and how she views the situation as a woman who just began a new phase of her life, retirement.
And this is just one of millions of lives that are being affected every day. It really puts into perspective how astronomically detrimental AI's impacts are, not only on the environment, but also people who could very well be you or me.
The real problem is that societies as a whole are so unaware. For example, in India, people don't realize how bad the situation has already become. For millions of families, water comes from tankers, not taps, measured in buckets, rationed like fuel. In cities and villages alike, people brush their teeth and drink water that may carry sewage residue, heavy metals, or industrial toxins without even knowing it. We know that water pollution and scarcity are dangerous, but we underestimate and ignore how widespread and irreversible the damage truly is.
And to demonstrate this, we conducted a series of street interviews asking people about their perception of AI's effects on the environment.
How often do you use AI?
Well, in my profession, I think AI is the most important thing because I deal with students and education. So, yes, it is one of the most important elements. We use it for reference purposes.
At least once a day.
I use AI every day. I work in Google, so I use AI every day. And now Gemini 3 is wonderful. I would recommend you guys also have a look at it. And what platforms do you usually use?
We usually use now these days, we have these new applications come up like Perplexity or ChatGPT and a few other AI tools which, help us find information in a much more easier, rather structured manner.
I usually use the Canva AI because I'm trying to make some Instagram posts and I would love to have some nice background on it. So I use the Canva AI to make some artistic background to it or just generate a picture that suits my reel.
Being a Googleite, I like to promote Gemini, and Gemini is at present is very powerful compared to other AI tools. So I mostly use Gemini. Do you know how much water the AI industry uses on a daily basis?
Honestly, no. Maybe a few tons because of the machinery or the use of the satellite.
I assume it's a lot, somewhere in the numbers of tons.
I am not sure, but Google follows a policy that we work on a green. We call ourselves a green company. So we consume resources which are natural. So I am not very much sure about it. So it's about 19 million liters of water every single day.
That is too much.
I am sure.
I didn't know that. Do you know how much energy is used per AI search?
I am sure because it's all cloud data. I am sure it might be using a lot of energy.
Unfortunately, I'm not aware.
Again, I don't have any idea about it. Each search consumes about enough energy to power a light bulb for 20 minutes.
That's too much.
Wow, that I did not know that.
Before this interview, what was your perception on AI?
Just an application based tool wherein we use a few programming apps to design it and then it's done.
Same as teenagers, I was not aware of many things. I am aware of them now.
So I am honestly telling you, I never liked AI, but now when I started using it, I find it very useful. It's powerful. Earlier, I used to draft my emails, I used to write documents, I used to prepare presentations, which used to take a lot of time. But now I just give a prompt and AI is doing that job and it's doing better than me. So earlier, if I used to spend preparing a presentation 2 to 3 years, AI is doing that job for me in 5 to 10 minutes, and then I have to just review and it's ready. So I would suggest AI is very powerful. It is increasing your productivity. It is enabling you to do better. And now that you know this information, what do you think about it?
I think we all should be mindful before using AI and rather use your own thinking skills.
I might use it only once a week.
Given the energy requirements and water requirements, do you think there are alternatives that we could perhaps use?
Probably newspapers, updated news which comes up on television, and a few books which I think a few good authors have made, like encyclopedias or multiple books we have access to at easy as much. We can use that.
There are alternatives that are better than AI. There's artists who could have done this for me. I could have commissioned them. I think the limitation is money, though, because AI is free. So while I know alternatives exist, exploring them would just cost me a lot of time and money that I'm not sure I would always be interested in spending.
Honestly, I'm telling you, as of now, I don't think of alternatives, but we can do better. Whoever is promoting AI, if they can go like Google, if they can become a green company. So if they are using electricity, try to generate that electricity using natural resources. If they are consuming so much of water, maybe we need to plant more trees so that we get enough amount of water so that there won't be water scarcity. So I don't think anything better than this we can do. If we can do, even I would like to know.
So for alternatives, you can either use eco-friendly AI programs like Ecosia, which use less water than it takes for Google searches. They give all their money and all their profits to planting trees and bettering the environment. And you can try to do like things like removing metadata collection or AI data collection from your Google and phones and all your applications.
Thank you so much for participating in this interview.
Thank you. It was a great learning for me equally. Thank you.
You are very welcome.
So, from these interviews, we can evidently see that people simply aren't aware of the issues we're addressing today. The key to solving these problems is education and awareness. We need to convey the message about the harmful effects of AI.
Even small choices matter. Something as simple as switching to a green search engine like Ecosia can make a difference. They use energy efficient AI, donate their profits to environmental projects, and produce more clean energy than they use to power searches. So clearly, every time you Google something, well, Ecosia it, you're helping the planet a little bit.
The best we can do is try to minimize our usage of AI for trivial things and just put in a dash of our own effort. We can protest against forceful AI integration, where we don't get to choose, against wastefulness and carelessness of tech agencies that run these data centers.
Look, AI is undeniably intertwined with our lives. It is impossible to fully separate ourselves from it. So, the least we can do is to do our best not to contribute any more to the problem and to use our voices and stop others from contributing to the problem as well.
That's absolutely right. Well, guys, we hope you enjoyed the pilot episode of Carbon Echo. And if you did, make sure to follow along for more episodes in the works. In our next episode, we will be talking about the effects of animal husbandry industry on the environment.
If the climate crisis speaks to you and you like learning about it in concise, informative ways, make sure to tune in to our second episode. Thank you for listening. Over and out.